Nolan Show, a live New York sports YouTube and Twitter show. If you want $10, I'm giving away $10 to 3 random people who retweet this video, tag a friend, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. The link is in my Twitter bio. But yeah, call into the show, 424-432-3565. You see the number up to the top right of my screen. But yeah, let's roll. Let's get things started.
As I start to write this memoir, who would have ever thought at 19 I'd take it that far? My life is like a movie without the caption. That mean even in the next scene, I swear to God, you never know what happened. I started rapping, man, before I could talk, and I was running on beats before I knew how to walk. So the next time you see a body that's been lined in some chalk, just know that I was probably there and took it with an assault. So save the salt, I sprinkle pepper each and every letter. You hating pussies couldn't stop me at your get-togethers. I hold my weight, you bitches couldn't even lift a feather. I say it's settled like some tea that's all up in the kettle. I'm going platinum like 50 and 03, and with these fights I feel like Floyd cause I'm 50 and OB.
This Knicks team can go toe-to-toe with anybody. They might not be the best team, but they can beat the best team.
When Cohen has his eyes set on someone, he's going to do everything physically and humanly possible to acquire them.
A team like the Yankees, they have such a rich history and tradition where you need guys like that who are extremely loyal to come through.
He scored 4 goals the other night against Carolina.
I think Daniel Jones absolutely should be back.
The Yankees are in a bad spot, and I don't see how they're ever going to beat the Astros. I do really believe Kane puts his team over the top.
Yeah, we lost out on Correa, but we still got Brett Bates.
Keep it a buck, I'm really a pop. I wanted a little, but bought it a lot. I got a million, baddie a watch. Just give me a year and I got it unlocked.
What's up? Like I said, retweet this video, tag a friend, and I'll give you $10. $10 to 3 random people. You got to be subscribed to the YouTube channel, though, of course. But yeah, let's get right into it. The biggest topic of the day is the Knicks 3-game losing skid. That's what we're going to be talking about to start off the show. I'm going to pop it up right there in the overlay because the Knicks have sucked for the last 3 games. And Julius Randle had a big blow-up. So that poses the question, what's going on with the Knicks? Are we screwed? Are we going to fall out of the top 6? I don't think we are. I think we're fine. I think we're still going to finish at the 5 seed. The Cavs are a tough opponent, though. I was talking in State Space, actually, today. And State was bringing up great points. A lot of people in there. Miguel from the Knicks recap, he was bringing up a lot of great points, especially Smooth, too. The Cavs, they ain't just an easy walkthrough. Like, yeah, Jalen Brunson, he chopped up against Donovan Mitchell last season in the playoffs in the Western Conference, second round, I think it was. Not the Western Conference Finals, but Jalen Brunson, he dropped like 41 one game. But that was against the Utah Jazz where Donovan Mitchell's second best player was Rudy Gobert. Now he has Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. His roster is deep. The Cavs are good. They were good last year without Donovan Mitchell, and now you add in Donovan Mitchell, and they really did. They also they're deep. They're a deep team, just like the Knicks are. But and also there's also the other take too, where it's like the positive Knicks take. It's like, yeah, if we lose in the first round, yeah, but we overachieved. No one expected us to go this far. But no, that's a bunch of bull crap too. Because at the end of the day, when things change, expectations change. And this Knicks team, us Knicks fans, we realized it. Jalen Brunson is a very good point guard. He's one of the best point guards in the league this season. Julius Randle is capable of playing like an all-NBA power forward. We've seen it. We also have Emmanuel Quick, who Knicks fans want to start. I'm going to get into that a little bit later. His stats as a starter are great this year. He's averaging 19 a game when he starts this year. But yeah, overall, like this Knicks team is legit good. So if they lose in the first round, we should be pissed. We should be pissed. Why shouldn't we? Like I said, we have an all-NBA player in Julius Randle who made the All-Star team for a second time in the last 4 years. Jalen Brunson is he's definitely going to win the Most Improved Player of the Year award. Tom Thibodeau is trying to get his second Head Coach of the Year award. He probably won't, but he's in the fighting for it. And that's another thing. Tibbs, I'm going to put it up right now, but he might be holding this team back. I think he's the real reason that this team is struggling right now, because at the end of the day, we got guys on the offensive side that can ball out. I know Jalen Brunson has been out, but Emmanuel quickly can put the ball in the basket. Quentin Grimes can put the ball in the basket. We know RJ Barrett, who's been playing very good his last 10 games. He's averaging over 21 a night his last 10 games. So that's a good sign to see RJ really stepping it up. So we got guys that can put the ball in the basket. But what's been the problem? Well, Randall, one, he's freaking out. The fact that Thibodeau is the fact that Julius Randle is enabled to feel that he can act out in such a way, that's the first issue. Because, yes, I'll even admit, it does happen around the league. We see Anthony Davis bugging out. We see Jimmy Butler bugging out. But you know where those teams are right now? The Heat, they're underachieving. And the Lakers, they just won an NBA Finals, in 2020, like 3 years ago? Yeah, so how are they right now? So those teams, when those players when they bug out like that and they tweak out, that's what happens. We saw Julius Randle do that all year last year. We sucked last year. It does screw up the locker room. But the thing is, we've seen Randle go from that to this season. We've seen him bounce back twice now. Because even in his first year, he kind of a little bit, and the fans were hating on him. And even last year, we all know we were hating on him, asking him to get traded. And now people are saying the same thing just because he bugged out once. But if he comes back strong, I want to ask you, Knicks fans, will you feel the same way? Will you really feel the same way? Because if Julius Randle comes back on Monday night and he drops 30, 35-plus points and we get a win, then I'm sure Knicks fans will be like, oh, we love Julius Randle again. It's going to happen. But at the end of the day, he had no right to bug out on Emmanuel quickly. No right. Because it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. Now, I know that Emmanuel quickly is a tough kid, and he's going to walk into that locker room and he's going to be like, listen, Julius, I get it. He's probably going to say some shit. You know he's going to say some shit to Julius Randle like, yo, bro, first off, don't bug out on me like that. But two, we're cool because at the end of the day, we got the same goal. And that goal is to bring this New York Knicks team, I'm not going to say to an NBA championship, but they're probably thinking that. I hope they're thinking that. Because at the end of the day, like I said, when things change, expectations change. This Knicks team needs to get out of the first round. But Quentin Grimes, like they were bringing up a good point in the Twitter spaces. This is why I'm going to put it up right now that Tibbs might be holding this Knicks team back because, Emmanuel quickly is a guy who should be in the starting lineup. At this point, he's the one who's earned it. Quentin Grimes, he got handed the starting shooting guard job just because he's Quentin Grimes and he's a good defender and he's a 3-and-D type player and that's what Tom Thibodeau wants. But Emmanuel quickly has developed into a legit scoring option and he's a very good defender. So one, Grimes he's not that big and he's not that good at defense. Like he's good at defense at times, but when he has to, we see Emmanuel quickly, look at his plus minus this year. He's top 15 and I think he's top 20 in the league this year in plus minus. I haven't checked recently, but I have it right here. His stats pulled up as a starter on my computer. Right now, of course, it's not loading, but he's averaging 19.9 points, so just under 20 points a game as a starter. And we know yes, he's a great point guard, and he's developed into a great point guard 100%. But we all know what he can do off the ball too. He's a great shooter, probably a much better shooter, I would say. Catch and shoot wise, yes, Quentin Grimes is great. But Emmanuel quickly, remember 2 years ago, his rookie season when he was a catch and shoot guy with Derrick Rose in the second lineup, quickly can catch and shoot. Quickly is a very good defender too. He's exactly what this Knicks team has been missing. But at the end of the day, Tom Thibodeau isn't going to put Quickly in the starting lineup. So now I'm asking, should we fire Tibbs in the offseason? It's not going to happen this season. But at the end of the day, we need something. We need a spark. We need something to switch because we have a talented roster. Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, two all-star players. Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett, all Knicks fans know that those two players can easily be all-stars. They both can be all-stars. Quickly has proven he's a sixth man of the year. RJ Barrett we saw last year, and in his last 10 games, he's been averaging over 20 points a night. So we know it's there from those two. We've seen it from Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle that they're capable of being all-stars. Mitchell Robinson, he wants more of a role in the offense, and honestly, maybe he does deserve one. I mean, I love Hartenstein, what he's been doing. We got like a really good roster on this team. From top to bottom, the guys on this roster, honestly, who's deeper than us? And even outside of the 9-man rotation, We still have Miles McBride outside of the 9-man rotation. Jericho Sims outside of the 9-man rotation. So that's another thing. Like the 9-man rotation, I love it. I really do. But now we're seeing it towards the end of the year that this Knicks team is kind of burning out. Julius Randle, the reason, I'm sure one of the reasons that he was bugging out on Emmanuel quickly is because he's tired. I mean, he's only played the most minutes in the NBA the last 3 seasons, and he's on pace to play a whole entire 82-game season this year. And that's on Tom Thibodeau for enabling Julius Randle to feel like he has to do that when he doesn't. Because Obi Toppin, right here, shout out Obi, man. I love Obi. But at the end of the day, I don't think Obi would be dropping 25 and 11 a night. But Obi can come in here and get a spot start here and there and give Randle a night off. We have the luxury of giving Randle a night off because we know Obi Toppin, as a starter last year, he was popping off. He was dropping like 30-point triple-doubles. Oh, no, that was quickly. But he was dropping 30-point double-doubles. So Obi is a guy that all Knicks fans know can step in and do his job, especially in a spot start. And he should be getting more minutes because Julius Randle doesn't need to be playing 40 minutes. Julius Randle, yes, all-NBA player. He is an all-star, and he sometimes has carried this team to wins, like multiple times this season. But he doesn't need to. We have other guys. We don't need Julius Randle playing iso ball. We don't need to be just giving Julius Randle the ball late in games when we don't have Jalen Brunson. We got other guys that should get involved in the offense. But Thibodeau doesn't enable the other players to do that. I mean, RJ Barrett, yes, he's struggling from 3. Feels like Thibodeau has just wanted RJ Barrett to be a 3-point shooter. But RJ isn't a good 3-point shooter this season. So what has he been doing the last 10 games very well? Driving to the basket, just like last season. RJ is a slasher. His shot, maybe it can develop. Hey, I mean, he's only 22 years old, and Julius Randle didn't make the All-NBA team until he was 26. So RJ can be there. I'm still not giving up on RJ. I don't want to trade RJ Barrett in the offseason. I still think the Knicks should roll with him. At the end of the day, he can develop into something. We just need a new coach to scheme the offense a little bit better. I love Mitch. If Mitch can shoot a perimeter shot just a little bit, mid-range shot, maybe a little, just to spread the floor a little bit, pass a little bit better, then yeah, I'd love to keep him around. But if he can't, then maybe bring in a guy like KP or even Hartenstein. We've seen him, like when he's in the middle of the court, in that center of the paint, you know, Hartenstein, his ability to spread the floor too. I mean, he's not really a good 3-point shooter at all, but he can knock down a mid-range shot. He can pass too. His pass vision is great. That's what really helps him spread the floor a lot better too. So really, I just think the really missing part that the Knicks need is just a coaching switch. You see Johnny Bryant calming down Julius Randle when he bugs out, when it should be Tom Thibodeau. So that's what I'm just concerned about is why is it Tom Thibodeau not calming down Johnny? I mean, why is it Tom Thibodeau not calming down Julius Randle? Why is it Johnny Bryant? That's why I think we need that coaching change. Because we know this Knicks team can play defense. Thibodeau loves defense. We know that. He's a great defensive-minded head coach. But when it comes to offense, he sucks. It's not creative. It's ISO ball. It's just ISO heavy. Julius Randle plays ISO. RJ Barrett plays ISO. Jalen Brunson plays ISO. Even Quentin Grimes, when he scores, sometimes it's ISO ball. Or he's trying to score ISO and he can't. When he's really a catch and shoot guy. And I love Grimes, don't get me wrong, but I just think him being in the starting lineup right now doesn't really make sense. I forgot who mentioned it in State Space earlier, but like Grimes, he should be in the second lineup. And it should be Quickly in the starting lineup. Because Quickly, you saw him, he benefited from being in that second unit for the last 2 years. Even now, he's benefited from being in the second unit because now he knows his spots. He knows how to get to his spots. He's even a playmaker. He's developed into a great point guard now. So why not just make that, like, he's earned a job in that starting rotation. I get it. He's a great 6-man and he's a spark off the bench. But if Grimes is that good, he can be a spark off the bench too. And Josh Hart, I hate to break it to, like, a lot of Knicks fans, it's either a love-hate relationship with Josh Hart, but Josh Hart can be a great 6-man too. He's a great spark off the bench. if I'm listen, I know I'm not Tom Thibodeau, and I'm not saying I'm a genius when it comes to the NBA and basketball. I do coach basketball, but I don't I'm not going to just call myself a genius just because I'm hosting a podcast right now. But I think a lot of Knicks fans know that Emmanuel Quickley deserves to start. And Quentin Grimes kind of got handed that job. Now, we're not in practice, so we don't know what's going on. But based off the stats in the games, Emmanuel Quickley is better than Quentin Grimes. And I get it if we didn't have another option for that 6-man spark off the bench, but we do. We have Josh Hart. Josh Hart can be the substitute of that 6-man, because we'd be losing we'd be losing the 6-man of the year if we promote Quickley to that starting role. But Josh Hart is a great 6-man too. And we need a boost in this starting lineup. We've known it. It's not going to happen this year. It's not, but Tibbs is really holding this team back. I think Emmanuel Quickley should be starting, but it's just tough. It's tough because it's just we don't know if Leon Rose is going to be capable of firing his boy Tom Thibodeau. Johnny Bryant, I think, should be the head coach of this team. But at the end of the day, I'm just a fan. But the Knicks really need to figure it out because Julius Randle, too, he had no right bugging out on Emmanuel Quickley. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because at the end of the day, it happens. But it happens with bad teams. And we know when Julius Randle bugs out, the Knicks play bad. I mean, hell, we've lost the last 3 games, and Julius Randle has been in his head too much. So we just need the old Julius Randle back. That's it. We need Jalen Brunson back, and this Knicks team is going to be right back up there. I think what needs to happen with the Knicks is what probably happened is they definitely talked it out. If they didn't, then we're screwed. Then we're going to probably fail out for the rest of the season. But we'll really know what happened in the locker room based off of what the Knicks bounce back with Monday night and the rest of the season. Because these last 7 games, we're either going to see, is this Knicks team tough-minded or are they just shallow? Are they shallow and they're going to frail out? Or are they tough-minded? Are they going to finish this season strong, claim that 5 seed, hold on to that 5 seed? Because I think the 4 seed is out of reach now. The Cavs are just playing too good right now. Donovan Mitchell is great. And they still have, like I said, 4 other, and they're deep too. They have bench options too. And their head coach is great this year. So the Cavs are just great. We're not going to catch them in the 4 seed. They're beatable. And I expect the Knicks to beat them in the first round. If they lose, I'm going to be pissed off. I'm not just going to be like, well, the Knicks, they overachieved. They were expected to be a play-in team, and they got to the 5 seed. No, the Knicks, when things change, expectations change. So I want to see the Knicks win that first-round series against the Cavaliers, who we will likely play. And it will be tough. It probably will go to 6 or 7 games, but we should win that series. If the Knicks are what we're hyping them up to be, one of the best defensive teams in the league, Jalen Brunson is a superstar. Julius Randle, All-NBA. Emmanuel Quickley, 6-man of the year. And I think he should be starting, but Emmanuel Quickley, 6-man of the year. Tom Thibodeau, head coach of the year candidate, even though I think he's been holding back this team a little bit offensively in late game situations. But if we're hyping up this Knicks team, what we're hyping it up to be, then they should beat the Cavaliers first round and potentially win a second round series too. Because we see teams really claim their spot in the playoffs, and then the next season they really take off. So if the Knicks really want to prove, and that's what we should hold, if you look at other New York franchises, the Mets, the Yankees, the Giants now are trying to get up there. The Jets going after Aaron Rodgers, the Rangers, even the Islanders making this late season playoff push, trying to stay in there. The Devils. Every team, the Nets, they had Katie and Kyrie. They're all shooting for what? Championships. And Knicks fans, I'll admit it. Why are we just happy with, I'm even going to be happy with a first-round playoff win? That's it? Every other New York franchise is championship or bust. It's embarrassing. This New York Knicks team should be fighting for championships. And you know what? If Jalen Brunson is a superstar and Julius Randle's an All-NBA power forward, RJ Barrett's a 3rd overall pick, Emmanuel Quickley, he's certifying himself as a star right now in this league. Tom Thibodeau he's won multiple head coaches of the year. Then we should do more than just a first-round playoff series win. It's Julius Randle's 4th year. It's Tom Thibodeau's 3rd year. If we don't win a first round playoff series, Tom Thibodeau should be out. It's been 3 years. It's the New York Knicks. This is a New York franchise. We got to start holding them accountable. State Space was right. Like, Emmanuel Quickley should be starting, and the fact that he isn't is just stupid. It's stupid because he's better than Quentin Grimes, and I get it. Like I mentioned before, if we didn't have another option to put in that 6-man role, that sparkle off the bench, I get it. Maybe keep Quickley off the bench for now. But we do. We have Josh Hart. Grimes could potentially be a spark off the bench. Maybe he finds a groove more on the offensive side with the second unit rather than with Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, 2 ball-dominant guys. And Quickley is I get it. He might be undersized with Jalen Brunson, but Emmanuel Quickley is one of the best perimeter defenders in the league this year. One of the best. I'm going to pull it up right now on StatMoose, but Emmanuel Quickley should be starting though. Call in, let me know if you think so. But right now, as a starter this year, he's 19.9 points per game, 5.4 rebounds per game, 4.8 assists. And you're telling me that's undersized? 35.8 from 3. This guy should be starting. We need to make a change on the coaching side. This offseason, if we lose in the first round, 100%, a switch needs to happen. We got to start holding the Knicks up to a high standard. Because every other New York franchise, like I said, Jets, Mets, Giants, Yankees, Aaron Judge, the MVP, like Rangers, Islanders, Devils, those 3 teams all shooting for the playoffs multiple times. The Knicks have made it, once since 2012? Our last 50-win season, I forgot who mentioned it in State Space, but when did the 40-win season become the new 50-win season? It's ridiculous. Well, I'm going to pull it up right now. Plus minus leaders, because I love the plus minus stat is my favorite stat. I think it really shows the value of guys like Josh Hart, guys like Emmanuel Quickley, guys like even Isaiah Hartenstein at times, guys like sometimes Quentin Grimes, guys like Obi Toppin. It really shows their true value during the small amount of time they're on the court, especially even like guys like Josh Hart who do have increased roles on the court, but not really in the offensive game plan. They're more of that pass and roll and rebound and being that physical guy role. So it really just shows you the true impact, I think, of players. I'm going to pull it up and share it with the screen right now. Nikola Jokic obviously leads the league because he's just a beast, and he's probably going to win another MVP this year. But I'm going to show you why the 6th man of the year candidate, Emmanuel Quickley, should be in the starting lineup, even though it might be considered undersized. Look at where he falls. Well, one, you see Josh Hart there. He's one of the leaders. Where's my boy Emmanuel Quickley? Oh, did he fall out? Am I missing his name? Oh, since. Where's my guy Emmanuel Quickley? I swear I saw a stat. He was a beast this year. I think it was since the All-Star break. I gotta bring it up. Plus 234. Yep, here it is. Is it sharing right now? Oh, of course. It's not even sharing. My bad, guys. But Emmanuel Quickley, plus 234. I hope it's up on the screen right now. Let's see what we got. Let me know if you guys see that on the screen. I'm not sure. In the comments or drop something. Oh, yep. We got it up right now. Yes. Emmanuel Quickley. Look at that. A plus 234 plus minus this season. I think it really shows you the true impact of a guy like him. Because yes, he should win that six man of the year award. 35.4% from three this year. Averaging 13.7 points per game off the bench. Emmanuel quickly deserves to be in the starting lineup. I'll show you right now here too. Stat Moves, by the way, guys. Great website for stats like this. And keep in mind, this is all the majority of Emmanuel Quickly's minutes are off the bench. I'm sure everyone watching this knows that, but since the All-Star break, though, he's really been popping off. 17.9 points per game, 4.4 rebounds, 3.5 assists in a 15-game stretch since the All-Star break. Emmanuel Quickly, I mean, I don't know how there's any other better way to put it. He deserves to be in the starting lineup. I love Quentin Grimes, I do, and I don't mean to make this into a straight Knicks show tonight, but the Knicks have been really pissing me off lately, so I just wanted to get the steam off my chest. But yeah, you see it right there. Emmanuel Quickly, 17.9 points per game, 4.4 rebounds, 3.5 assists in the last 15 games since the All-Star break. And in his starts this year, I have it to my left on my other computer. He's 19.9 points, 5.4 rebounds, 4.8 assists in 16 games as a starter. So in 16 games as a starter, Emmanuel Quickly has averaged just under 20 points. And in his last 15 games since the All-Star break, he's averaging just under 18 points off the bench. And sometimes he's starting because Brunson has been out. But the point is here, the Knicks need to make a coaching switch at the end of the year. If we don't get out of the first round, if we don't beat the Cavs, then I think Thibodeau needs to go. Because Julius Randle shouldn't be blowing up on the court like that on Emmanuel Quickly. And Thibodeau not even holding him accountable in the post-game conferences or trying to go after him on the court, trying to calm him down. It's Johnny Bryant, the associate head coach. It's embarrassing. Quite frankly, it is embarrassing. Yes, Anthony Davis does it. Yes, Jimmy Butler does it. But their teams are underachieving. And the Knicks, I don't want to be labeled as overachieving. Like 2 years ago, we were labeled as overachievers. I want the Knicks to be good in reality. We have an all-NBA power forward. We have an all-star point guard. Well, all-star snubbed point guard. We have Emmanuel Quickly, who's turning into a star. We have RJ Barrett, the third overall pick, who we know can ball out. And like I said, we have the luxury of giving Julius Randle a night off because we have a guy like Obi Toppin who can come in and drop 15 and grab 5 to 8 rebounds. But Thibodeau is just he's too stuck in his head, like just with the Minnesota Timberwolves when he burned out Zach LaVine. And 2 years ago, what happened with Julius Randle too? Why do you think he had a bad postseason? Because he was burned out. He was burned out. And what does he look like right now? He looks burned out. He needs a night off. And we all know that Obi Toppin can step in and do his job for a night. He can spot start. Just like Emmanuel Quickly can spot start for Jalen Brunson, Obi Toppin is more than capable of spot starting for Julius Randle. He's more than capable of getting, instead of 11 minutes or sometimes even 8 or 7 minutes a night, he should be getting 16 to 20 minutes. Even that is too little, I think, for Obi Toppin. But I get it. Julius Randle is an all-NBA power forward, so there's only so much to go around. But Obi Toppin, it shouldn't be Julius Randle getting 36 to 40 minutes a night. We don't need to be killing Julius Randle. We don't need to be at the last 2 minutes of the game in a close game in crunch time. We don't just need to be giving Julius Randle the ball when Jalen Brunson isn't here. We have guys like Grimes. We have guys like Quickly. Even Josh Hart can get a bucket. I don't understand. And even the creativity, we see small front courts all the time in the NBA nowadays. But Thibodeau won't put Julius Randle and Obi Toppin together. He won't. He won't. So Tibbs, he's holding this Knicks teams back. Going to take a break here. I'll be back in 5. But yeah, going to be talking about this Giants. Daniel Jones, way too early expectations going into next year. Going to be talking a little bit of Jets. Where the hell is Aaron Rodgers? A little bit of Mets, Brett Beatty. A little bit of Yankees, Anthony Volpe. But yeah, Friday night, March 24th. Let's keep it rolling. And, even after Ohtani, what do you think? What do you think about Steve Cohen as a whole? Like, you think this guy, what do you think he did for this Mets franchise so far?
Yeah, I think starting with the first half of the question, Ohtani's certainly on the table. The biggest barrier in the Mets' way from them landing him isn't dollars, but it really is just preference. If Ohtani still has the same preference that he had entering the MLB, which is West Coast, then the likelihood of him landing with the Mets isn't as strong as, say, the Dodgers, who, while the Dodgers might not be able to put up the highest dollar for Ohtani the way that the Mets would, it wouldn't be shocking if Ohtani, say, took a slight pay cut from the Dodgers versus what the Mets offer would be. They weren't drastically different to stay in LA, that area, to be with the Dodgers and be on the championship winning type organization still. So that is the biggest hurdle in landing him. But rest assured, we've all known by now that when Cohen has his eyes set on someone, he's going to do everything physically and humanly possible to acquire them. And, I don't expect the Carlos Correa, broken ankle type situation 2.0 here with Ohtani. So rest assured, if the interest is there, which we all know it is, the Mets will at minimum do their due diligence and give a valiant effort in landing him. And should they not, especially, then you look at the Manny Machado. I think either way, the Mets are in a strong position to land one of the top free agents next year. It's just a matter of if it's going to be the best player in baseball or is it going to be one of the best third basemen in the game. So, yeah, we'll discuss that more as we get closer to the trade deadline, depending on where the Angels are at and things of that nature. But, yeah, they will certainly be involved. And to answer the second part, yeah, Cohen, everything that I say by now, right? He's just done an amazing job as Mets owner over the past couple of years. I had the privilege of meeting him a couple months ago, back in early January at a Mets event, and he was just, exactly what you would expect him to be. Just the fact that he goes so out of his way constantly to interact with fans, people, media, just really showing that the only difference between you and I and Cohen is the dollars in our net worth. Aside from that, the same interest level is there when it comes to being a diehard true Mets fan. That is what was the focal point in him buying the team in the first place. It wasn't because of this being a superior investment long term. No, it's because he wants to bring championships to Queens as a desperate fan, and I don't blame him. I would do the exact same thing if I had the money to back it and if I were in his shoes. So, everything he's done from top down, not only in the organization with the amount of funding for the roster, which is right around double more that he's spent on guaranteed contracts alone since he became an owner, which is around $1.4 billion than the next closest owner in baseball over the past couple of years, which is Steinbrenner of the Yankees, around $880 million. Aside from investing a record amount of dollars over that period of time with on-field product, it's off the field. It's with the coaching staff with Showalter, Epler, the hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars that he's also spending in the analytics department, which is something that the Mets didn't even have when Cohen became owner. It's from the smallest things to the biggest things to the medical staff. Everything and everyone that is currently a part of the Mets organization is making this look night and day from what it was just a couple of years ago. And it just shows you that, having a lot of money certainly helps, but knowing how to properly allocate it into every single area of need and just to give you superiority over the next club as a rival, either in the division or just going for a championship as a whole, will certainly help do wonders for a team. And that is the case with Cohen and these New York Mets. Beyond grateful to have Mets.
Yo, we are back. Welcome to the Nolan Show. If you're just joining me, whether you're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, drop a like, retweet this video, tag a friend, and enter a chance to win $10. Retweet this video. You gotta be subscribed on the YouTube channel, though, of course. Gotta like this video, retweet it, tag a friend. Help me grow this. See the number right up to my right. Right up to my top right on my screen, 424-432-3565. Join in and call the live show. Let me know your take. But right now, I'm going to be talking about Danny Dimes and the fact about, he wasn't that good last year. I don't think he earned that much money that he got paid from Joe Shane and the New York Giants. But at the end of the day, he did get his $40 million. It's only going to be a $21 million cap hit, though. So the Giants do have some flexibility to put a roster around him. They did franchise tag Saquon Barkley. He'll be coming back. They added Darren Waller from the Las Vegas Raiders. That's a huge pickup. He's a tight end with lots of potential. We saw him pop off for 2 straight years of 1,000 yards. 1,000+ yards in receiving for 2 straight seasons with the Las Vegas Raiders. And the last 2 years, he's been injury prone, though. 7 games last year, only this year. But ultimately, Darren Waller is a good tight end. Saquon Barkley, he's pretty good. We all know he's pretty good. One of the best running backs in the league. He was one of the main reasons that this Giants team had 9 wins, and he was a main focal point in their playoff run. But they need more. Obviously, they need more. The Philadelphia Eagles are stacked. The Philadelphia Eagles have lost a few key pieces, like CJ, GJ, they're losing. They also lost Miles Sanders on the offensive side. They lost a few key coaches as well, whereas the Giants, they retained both Mike Kafka, the offensive coordinator, and their defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale, and Brian Daboll, of course, the head coach of the year last year. So we just need more weapons. That's all Daniel Jones needs. The line is, it's all right. They could use a little bit more depth on that offensive line, but Andrew Thomas leading the charge. He's a beast. He's the centerpiece of that offensive line for a long, long time. And then you also got to take into account they cut Kenny Golladay, but they didn't really have a number 1 this year. Darius Slayton won't be coming back. But Isaiah Hodgson, he's pretty good. Wan'Dale Robinson, he's pretty good. He was a 2nd-round draft pick last year. He could be a solid number 3 in the slot, maybe, potentially. They just need a number 1. OBJ is there. The Jets are trying to steal him back away. They're trying to bring him back to New York, but in green. But the Giants, I mean, it's there. OBJ, I'm sure, would definitely be interested in coming back to the New York Giants. Yes, he probably wants to play with Aaron Rodgers, but if the Giants offer him something, maybe. He said he's got unfinished business there, so why not? Then you also got to think, too, this Giants team, man, I think they can get up there with the Eagles. It's just the only thing is they got to get that number 1 wide receiver. That's the key. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be available. He's on the trade block right now for the Arizona Cardinals. He's probably not going to be with them next year. The Patriots are rumored to be linked to trying to grab him. I think the Giants, why shouldn't they be in on DeAndre Hopkins? Imagine DeAndre Hopkins with Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. There's a weapon right there. You're right up there with the Eagles, especially with the moves that the Giants have made this offseason and the offseason moves the Eagles haven't made and the players that they've lost and the coaches that they've lost, like I mentioned before. And the Giants, as I mentioned before, retaining Mike Kafka, retaining Wink Martindale. That's huge for them. Retaining Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones, even though Daniel Jones wasn't really, I mean, you only threw 15 passing touchdowns, but you get him a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, and then your wide receiver room is Hopkins, Isaiah Hodgson, Wan'Dale Robinson, and then he has Darren Waller to throw the ball to. Flip to the defensive side. DeMarcus Lawrence, he should only get better and better. He's already one of the best defensive linemen in the league. Kayvon Thibodeau should take a step forward. Xavier McKinney, he should be healthy for a full season as long as he doesn't ride a quad in the bye week. So this Giant, and then you obviously added Bobby Okereke too, a top 10 linebacker in the NFL. So this Giants team, I wouldn't be shocked if they're fighting for the NFC East title next year. I really wouldn't. I mean, there hasn't been a back-to-back NFC East winner in a long, long time. And I know Jalen Hurts is very good, but they've lost a lot of key pieces. More on the defensive side than the offensive side, but that also gives the Giants a lot more opportunity. What did they not do against the Eagles? They didn't score. They turned the ball over. Well, now they lost CJ GJ. Kaiser White, I think his name is, but then all the coaches that they lost too. So the Giants got a shot. Low-key, they got a shot. They just got to get that number 1 wide receiver, whether it's DeAndre Hopkins, whether it's OBJ. I think no matter what they do, they should still bring in 2 legitimate wide receivers. Like if they bring in OBJ, still bring in Robert Woods. If they bring in a DeAndre Hopkins, still bring in a Robert Woods. Or like I'm sure like Elijah Moore would actually be a good fit with them, but the Jets traded him already to the Cleveland Browns. But a guy like him, he would have been a good fit. Jerry Jeudy, I'm sure he might be like, why not they should be calling the Cincinnati Bengals if they didn't even give them a call for T. Higgins. That'd be stupid. Even though the Bengals have tried to say that they want to retain T. Higgins, I know it's going to be hard. Let's be real. And they also have Tyler Boyd too. So there's a lot of options, whether it's trade, whether it's free agency, but the Giants have options at the end of the day. And listen, Daniel Jones, my expectations next year, now that he has the 4-year deal, really a 2-year deal guaranteed, he's going to be a $20 million cap hit. So, but listen, I'm expecting a lot from Daniel Jones. He should be a top 15, top 10 quarterback next season. We saw Jalen Hurts when he had 9 wins 2 years ago. Now, I'm not saying Daniel Jones needs to go to the Super Bowl and throw for over 300 yards against Pat Mahomes, but I think we need to see more than 9 wins next year. I think we need to see more than 15 passing touchdowns next year. I don't think that's asking too much out of Daniel Jones. If he is what he got. But, yeah, I mean, let's pop a little bit of March Madness talk right now real quick. By the way, Nick Boyd from FAU, shout out him, 845 kid, Rockland County kid. But Texas, man, Alabama losing was a big shock. I think a lot of people expected them to win, especially San Diego State being a 5 seed against a 1 seed. But San Diego State has been popping off. So, I mean, a little upset there. And then you see Xavier is just getting smoked by Texas right now. But then again, it's college basketball, and we all know in this era of basketball alone, comebacks, there's no lead that's safe. Princeton putting up a fight against Creighton. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at that FAU game tomorrow. I'm excited tomorrow night to see Nick Boyd and FAU. It's going to be a fun one to watch. Shout out Nick Boyd. Keep chopping up with FAU. He had like 12 points last night. So yeah, he's doing pretty good. He had that game time layup last week. But yeah, back to New York sports talk. Daniel Jones. Like I said, we need to see more than 15 passing touchdowns. We need to see more than 4,000 yards. Because right here, I'm going to share my screen right now. Like, you could say all you want. Oh, yeah, he had no wide receivers, blah, blah, blah. I'll type it up right now. But yeah, right here, I'm pulling it up right now. Mike White, shout out, number 2, even though it's 4 games played. But Daniel Jones, he's not even on this list. Like, I like Daniel Jones. I think he's a good quarterback, but I don't think he's a great quarterback. I think, a guy who gets a 4-year deal worth over $40 million a year should at least be on this list, throwing over 210 yards per game. I mean, Joe Flacco threw 210 yards per game. Ryan Tannehill threw for 211 yards per game. Mac Jones threw 214 yards per game. Daniel Jones isn't even on this list. So Mac Jones threw more yards per game than Daniel Jones in 2022. Jimmy G, another one. Derek Carr, who got a contract similar to Daniel Jones. He threw more yards per game. Now, listen. Now, am I saying that Daniel Jones can't be a good quarterback and can't develop into one? No, but we're going into his 5th year. We're going into his 5th year. Here's this list. But look, right here, Mac Jones. Mac Jones outthrew Daniel Jones. That's embarrassing. I know my boy Mike loves Mac Jones, but that's bad. To not even be on this list, Joe Flacco, more yards per game. Ryan Tannehill, more yards per game. Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, Carson Wentz, Jimmy Garoppolo, Matthew Stafford, Derek Carr, Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence, Jalen Hurts, Geno Smith, Matt Ryan, Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, Josh Allen, Tua Tagovailoa, Tom Brady, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Jameis Winston, even Mike White in 4 games. And then, of course, Pat Mahomes, the best quarterback in all of football, all through more yards per game than Daniel Jones. That's a lot of quarterbacks better than a $40 million starting quarterback. Like, it's a lot of money. All I'm saying is, I think Daniel Jones is overrated. He is. There's no other better way to put it. Daniel Jones is overrated. But, like I said, in this day and age of NFL, you don't really need a great – yeah, you need a great quarterback. You know, the Bengals having Joe Burrow is a luxury. So is Josh Allen with the Bills. That's a luxury. Of course, who else am I missing? Justin Herbert with the Chargers. That's a luxury. Trevor Lawrence with the Jags. Like, all these teams have great quarterbacks. That's a luxury, yes. But at the end of the day, you know, you can get away with a strong defense and putting a team around him. I mean, Jalen Hurts won 9 games the year prior, and then he got A.J. Brown. He got Devontae Smith was still a part of the team. But they grew this team. They built a team around him. They built a stud defense, and look what happened. So Daniel Jones can take a step, but he's not a guy who's going to elevate guys around him. So I think he's overrated in that sense. But at the same time, I'm not going to say that the Giants can't win with Daniel Jones. They can win with Daniel Jones. They still have a defense that's building up to be a stud defense. DeMarcus Lawrence, like I said, he's a stud. Xavier McKinney is a stud. Bobby Okereke, bringing him in as a top 10 linebacker in this league. That's a huge move for the New York Giants. But they need more. They could use a cornerback. They could use more linebackers. Trenton Simpson is a draft target that I'm going to be writing an article about with the G-Men HQ on Fansided for. That's going to be a fun one. But yeah, there's moves that can be made on the defensive side, and there's of course moves on the offensive side that need to be made, such as bringing in a wide receiver 1, such as bringing in more offensive line depth to help out Andrew Thomas and to really protect Daniel Jones. Sign Saquon Barkley to an extension. Maybe that's on the offseason checklist. I don't know. But the Giants need to do more. Darren Waller was a huge pickup. Bobby Okereke was a huge pickup for the defensive side. But we need more. The Giants need more. But at the end of the day, if they do add that wide receiver 1 and they have a good draft, then the Giants really fight for an NFC East title next season. I really do. Let's remove this and let's talk some Jets. Let's spend a little bit of quick time on the Jets because I do have work tomorrow and I kind of want to go to bed soon. Oh, Rick Pitino, by the way. Shout out Rick Pitino, new St. John's head coach. That's a big move for St. John's. Maybe they'll finally become relevant, and maybe they'll be in March Madness next year as one of those sleeper teams. But yeah, where's Aaron Rodgers? Because this is apparently, I forgot where the report was today. I'm going to look it up real quick. But the Packers and Jets have hit a roadblock. But yeah, I guess right here, the New York Post article right here, I'm about to share the screen. What's holding this trade up, I guess, is the Jets don't want to give up their first-round pick, and, of course, the Packers want that first-round pick. I'm guessing that's the 13th overall pick in the upcoming draft. That's what the Packers want. In this article right here that I'm about to share, straight from the New York Post. Shout out the New York Post. Ryan Dunleavy, he reported in the Jets-Packers talks for Aaron Rodgers could hinge on first-round pick. This was posted today. Trading the prime years in the careers of NFL greats Tony Gonzalez or Aaron Donald to rent Aaron Rodgers. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, basically, they want that number 13 pick. Joe Douglas, obviously, we know he's a trade wizard. He got a second-round pick for Elijah Moore. He got a haul for Sam Darnold. He got a haul for Jamal Adams. Joe Douglas is a straight certified dog when it comes to making trades. But if the Packers just want that 13th overall pick and it's really coming down to that, then why not? You know what? Just give it to them. Just give it to them. Screw it. You want one first-round pick for Aaron Rodgers, a 4-time MVP? Hell, why not? But yeah, right there, Jets-Packers talks could hinge on that first-round pick straight from the New York Post. Shout out Ryan Dunleavy of the New York Post. Writes a lot of good stuff for the New York Jets and the New York Post. Yeah, but we got to see. Is it bugging me out a little bit that Aaron Rodgers isn't a Jet? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Would it be cool if he could finally just be a Jet? Oh, I wasn't talking there. But all it is they just need to figure out compensation. That's all that needs to happen. The Jets just need to figure out compensation with the Green Bay Packers, whether it's the last day right before training camp starts, whether it's draft night, whether the trade happens in an hour, whether the trade pulls up and happens in 2 minutes, which would be pretty cool. I don't care because at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers stated that he intends to play for the New York Jets. The Green Bay Packers have stated they are going to trade him to the New York Jets. The New York Jets said that they're going to trade for him. They just need to agree on compensation. That's it. And if the Jets don't have to give up the 13th overall pick, their first round pick this upcoming draft to get Aaron Rodgers, then I would love that. If they have to, okay. But if they don't have to, then why not? I mean, if the Packers really want Aaron Rodgers to sit on their roster, who's going to be a $60 million cap hit, then by all means, go for it. We all know they're not going to let that happen. They got to see what Jordan Love is made of. He's a first-round draft pick. They don't want to just let him hit free agency and walk away without playing a single game, without knowing what he is. They got to know if they want to pick up that 50-year option for him. And like I said, Aaron Rodgers is done with the Packers. Mark Murphy has stated it. But yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time on the New York Jets tonight. I'm going to spend a lot of time on a Monday night, but it is a little alarming that Aaron Rodgers isn't a Jet. McCole Hardman, he's a huge pickup for the Jets. I think that's a big one. He's going to be a wild card for us. If he can stay healthy, that's going to be huge. He's won 2 Super Bowls, even though he wasn't healthy for one of them with the Chiefs. And then also trading Elijah Moore. I think Elijah Moore is going to pop off with Cleveland. He's going to have a really. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a 1,000-yard year next year with Cleveland and Deshaun Watson. Garrett Wilson with Aaron Rodgers, he can do big things. Alan Lazard, he's going to be huge for this New York Jets team. If the rumors are true and the Jets do snag Odell Beckham Jr., whew. Now just imagine Odell Beckham Jr., Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, potentially now Ezekiel Elliott, Alan Lazard. We still got Tyler Conklin. We still have Corey Davis, McCole Hardman. Then you flip to the defensive side. Oh, wait, before I flip to the defensive side, Mekhi Becton's looking like a stud again. We still have Elijah Vera Tucker. This Jets team, man, on the offensive side, they got dudes. And on the defensive side, Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed, one of the best cornerback duos in all of football. CJ Mosley, Quentin Williams, John Franklin Myers on the line. And then you still got Jermaine Johnson, too, who's going into year 2 next year. Jordan Whitehead, hopefully he can take a step forward. I'm sure with Aaron Rodgers on the team, he's not going to want to be screwing up so much. Quincy Williams is coming back. We got guys. And Rob Saleh, we all know he was in a Super Bowl with the 49ers. I'm pumped for football. I wish it could start ASAP. But yeah, going to take a break from the football talk. And then we're going to be talking some Mets and Yankees. And then we're going to close up. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you're watching right now, whether it's on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube, stay with me. I'm going to take 5. Enjoy this quick video of
And even after Ohtani, what do you think? What do you think about Steve Cohen as a whole? Like, do you think this guy? What do you think he did for this Mets franchise so far?
Yeah, I think starting with the first half of the question, Ohtani's certainly on the table. The biggest barrier in the Mets' way from them landing him isn't dollars, but it really is just preference. If Ohtani still has the same preference that he had entering the MLB, which is West Coast, then the likelihood of him landing with the Mets isn't as strong as, say, the Dodgers, who, while the Dodgers might not be able to put up the highest dollar for Ohtani the way that the Mets would, it wouldn't be shocking if Ohtani, say, took a slight pay cut from the Dodgers versus what the Mets offer would be. They weren't drastically different to stay in LA, that area, to be with the Dodgers and be on the championship winning type organization still. So that is the biggest hurdle in landing him, but rest assured, we've all known by now that when Cohen has his eyes set on someone, he's going to do everything physically and humanly possible to acquire them. And, I don't expect a Carlos Correa, broken ankle type situation 2.0 here with Ohtani. So rest assured, if the interest is there, which we all know it is, the Mets will at minimum do their due diligence and give a valiant effort in landing him. And should they not, especially, then you look at the Manny Machado. I think either way.
We are back live March 24th, 2023. The Nolan Show, the fastest growing New York sports YouTube and Twitter show. Call in 424-432-3565. Call in and join the live. Yeah. You stop the music. Yeah, let's change that real quick. Brand. Boom. Oh, actually, let's talk about the Yankees. Let's talk about the New York Yankees. Opening day, a week away, 6 days away. New York Yankees and New York Mets baseball is about to be back on pump for it. The World Baseball Classic was freaking awesome. I'm so excited for baseball to be back. And yes, as a Mets fan, I still watch Yankees baseball because we baseball fans out here. That's what we do, man. But yeah, Aaron Judge, I'm thinking he's going to win another MVP. When you got a guy like Aaron Judge on your team, you're automatically in World Series contention, especially since the American League isn't really that stacked. Outside of the Houston Astros, Cleveland, and the Yankees, it's really like Houston's in the tier of their own. Then it's Cleveland and New York, and now it's Toronto trying to sneak in now too. They got a really good young roster that I'm going to be talking about a lot more this Monday. Going to get a guest on. Probably going to try to get Billy the Bat Boy up in here on Monday to talk about the Toronto Blue Jays, what he saw because he was down in spring training in Florida. He was also at the World Baseball Classic. Shout out Billy the Bat Boy, Billy Pinckney. He's awesome. Going to try to get him up on Monday talking Yankees with me. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to not only watch the Mets, like I said, to watch this Yankees team. I'm excited to see what Garrett Cole can do, even when Rodon comes back to make his Yankees debut when he comes off the IL. I'm excited to see Clay Holmes this year. I love Clay Holmes. I'm a big fan of Clay Holmes. Stanton, obviously, if he can stay healthy, he should be able to be a factor. Yankees fans expect him to be a factor. He's a former MVP. Anthony Rizzo, he has a bad back right now. So we really need him to stay healthy. DJ LeMahieu. And, of course, the biggest storyline around New York Yankees in spring training this year has been Anthony freaking Volpe, who's been absolutely tearing it up in spring training. He's won the starting shortstop job in fans' eyes. With the you can just tell sometimes fans, you can make that case, fans don't know what goes down in practice. Luckily, in baseball, you get to watch the practices, right? You get to see the practices. Anthony Volpe is much better than the other options at shortstop for the New York Yankees. You don't need to really you don't need to be a baseball junkie. Like, yes, I'm a baseball junkie, but you don't need to be a baseball junkie to know that Anthony Volpe is straight up better than Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, and he's straight up better than he's better than Aaron Hicks. I know Aaron Hicks doesn't play shortstop, but I'm just saying Volpe deserves a spot on this roster because he's better than Aaron Hicks. He's better than Josh Donaldson. He's better than IFK. Better than Gleyber Torres, too. Hates that. But Anthony Volpe should be the starting shortstop for the New York Yankees. There's no question about it. He's a guy that can also steal bases for the Yankees, and that's what the Yankees need. DJ LeMahieu is great. He's one of the best leadoff hitters in the game, yes. But now you add LeMahieu and Volpe, who I think should bat in front of Judge, Rizzo, and Stanton. Those top five, whether it's Volpe leading off or LeMahieu leading off, but those two, Volpe and DJ LeMahieu, they should be the first two up in the order for the New York Yankees this year on opening day. Then it should be Judge, should be Rizzo, then it should be Stanton, and then from the rest, figure it out. I don't care. But those five should be the first five in the starting lineup for the New York Yankees going into 2023. Anthony Volpe deserves to be the starting shortstop for the New York Yankees. He deserved it. He's earned the job. He's won the competition. If it's what it is, if it's a competition in spring training, then Anthony Volpe has won the job. I'm sick. I get it. Yes, he's young. And yes, the pressure will be there. But screw the pressure. The Yankees are trying to win a World Series. Games in the beginning of the season, they might not seem like they matter. But towards the end of the season, they're going to come back to bite them in the ass potentially. So Anthony Volpe is the best option. He's earned the job. He should start. I'm going to pull up his stats right now in spring training. I have him right here. Shout out to the Score app. It's the best app, I think, for stats. You can literally just look it up right here. Now, you literally just look up their name, click on their name. But yeah, he's got a 393 on base percentage, a 277 batting average, 574 slugging percentage. He hit a home run today against Minnesota. So, dude, this kid's ready. Home run today. This kid, Anthony Volpe, is ready. I'm going to try to pull up the video of it. Let me try to get this on video. But yeah, Anthony Volpe should 100% be the starting shortstop. Other than that, Aaron Boone, I think he needs a big year. We need to see not just a postseason appearance. I think the Yankees, it's coming to a point where you got to beat Houston. This year, if the Yankees don't make it to the World Series, I think Aaron Boone, listen, he's a great manager. He's going to get another job. But either something needs to change with the Yankees. You got to either bring in another star alongside Aaron Judge. You got to make a management switch. You got to bring up Anthony Volpe. Maybe bring in another pitcher too. Maybe it solidify that closing role with a legit, dominant closer like Aroldis Chapman should have been. But this Yankees team, it's always World Series or bust with the New York Yankees. But this year, with what happened last year, getting swept by the Houston Astros, I think you really need to see. And right here too, Aaron Judge too, about Anthony Volpe. My thing has always been, if you're the best player, it shouldn't matter your age. You should be up helping the New York Yankees. So yeah, I think we all know that Judge knows that Anthony Volpe should be up. Let's try to find this Anthony Volpe home run today. Oh, of course, I can't find it's nowhere on Twitter. No one wanted to post the Anthony Volpe home run on Twitter. But anyways, Anthony Volpe 100% should be the starting shortstop. I'm not going to spend too much time on the Yankees because I am over an hour right now. But yeah, similar position in comparison, Mets, Brett Beatty. Talking about a lot on the Mets way. Shout out to the Mets way, Jared, Josh, and Drew. We starting that back up. Next week, we'll be back with the Mets way too. Shout out to boys. Yes, sir. Grow the brand. Subscribe at the Mets way on YouTube, at the Mets way. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Yes, sir. Brett Beatty, though, we were talking about it last night on the pod. Brett Beatty, he should be the starting third baseman. Jared, I know you love Escobar. I do too. Drew, you love Escobar too, and Drew brought up a great point. Eduardo Escobar should be our freaking DH. Daniel Vogelback can't hit a donut or a burger right now. Darren Ruff, he's Darren Ruff. Probably going to be cut. Report came out today, I think it was from Joel Sherman, that Darren Ruff might not be on the Mets opening day roster. A lot of Mets fans will be happy about that. But Brett Beatty, just like Anthony Volpe, he's ready. He's ready. Yo, my dog is adorable right now. Hold up. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. That's the dog right there. Shout out Tyson, though. Yeah, but just like Anthony Volpe with the Yankees, Brett Beatty and the Mets are in a similar situation. Young kid, he's earned his job. Eduardo Escobar there's no other better way to put it, but he sucked this year. We saw him have a slow start to the season last year, and it did 100% hurt the Mets. And we all know he has a better second half. Like, he was the last 2 months. It was the 2 months of Escobar, one of the best third basemen in baseball. But we all know he had a slow start to last year. And it's looking like he's off to a slow start this year because in the WBC with Venezuela, he was struggling. And then also now in spring training, he's been struggling. But Brett Beatty, on the other hand, he's got a 325 batting average, 425 slugging percentage, and then a 460 on base percentage. Brett Beatty is ready to start at third base for the New York Mets. He should be the starting third baseman in the lineup. Now, I'm not going to go out there and say just like Volpe. Like, Volpe should be in the top 5 for the New York Yankees starting lineup, but Beatty, I don't think so. Because if Nimmo is healthy, it's going to be Nimmo, Marte, Alonso. Then it's also going to probably be Nimmo, Marte, Alonso. No, Nimmo, Marte, Lindor, Alonso. That's what I'm missing. I'm missing Lindor. And then 5th, I don't know, probably Vogie. Maybe Escobar if he's the DH. I love McNeil, but I'm going to make my case right now. I didn't get to make my case right now yesterday on the Mets way. But Jeff McNeil will be batting 9th for the New York Mets. Now, I know a lot of McNeil fans are going to be like, well, Jeff McNeil is the NL batting champion. Why should he be batting 9th? Well, let me tell you why. Baseball fans deep down inside know why you should bat a guy who should be leading off, but you have a really good leadoff hitter already. So you can't lead him off. Where do you bat him? 9th. Why? Because it's called the second leadoff position, the second leadoff spot. That's what some baseball junkies call it. Batting 9th is a good thing. And now that we have a DH, we can afford to bat Jeff McNeil 9th. Jeff McNeil, when he bats 5th, 6th, 7th, which we saw last year, he was batting in that 5 through 7 range. He didn't score. He was constantly getting on base, but Jeff McNeil didn't score a lot of runs in 2022. How do you increase his runs? Put him in that 9th spot. If you can't lead off because Brandon Nimmo's leading off, then make him the second leadoff hitter. If Jeff McNeil's batting 9th, McNeil gets on, Nimmo gets on, Marte has more opportunities to drive in runs. Pete Alonso and Lindor have more opportunities to drive in runs, even if Nimmo and Marte were to get out. So McNeil being in that 9th spot, it gives Nimmo a chance to drive him in rather than a Daniel Vogelback or a Tomas Nido. Well, Vogelback will probably bat 5th if he's in our lineup. But if McNeil bats 6th or if he bats 7th, then it's going to be Nido trying to drive him in or whoever's batting 9th trying to drive him in. Whereas if you bat McNeil 9th in the lineup in that second leadoff spot, then it's Brandon Nimmo, Starlin Marte, Francisco Lindor, and Pete Alonso batting after Jeff McNeil, trying to drive Jeff McNeil in, rather than if you bat McNeil 6th or 7th, then it's, you get the point now. McNeil should bat 9th because we need McNeil to score. We can't just stick him 6th and 7th or 5th because he's a good hitter, but the guys behind him can't drive him in. He's the NL batting champion. We need to take advantage of that. If there's not a spot in the lineup for him in the top 5, then put him in a spot in the lineup where the top 5 will be able to drive him in. And that spot is 9th. And I know it's not pretty. Oh, Jeff McNeil bats last. No, he's the second leadoff hitter. Think of it like that. And it won't affect any. If anything, it'll help the Mets more. Just restarts the lineup right at the top. Brett Beatty, he should be the opening day third baseman. Kyler McGill, he should be the closer. But that's another topic. But 6-man rotation should happen if McGill can't be the closer. David Robertson, he can also be our closer too. And also Tommy Hunter, he should make the opening day roster as well. He's been having a great spring training. Who's the guy? LaCastro. Tommy LaCastro, Jared was loving him last night. He's a guy who's been having a good spring training. He's batting over 300, and he's got speed in the outfield. He was with the Yankees actually last year too, so Yankee fans know a lot about him. But that's all I'm going to be talking about tonight. If you're watching right now, still shout out. Thank you for listening to this whole entire thing. I really appreciate it. If you could like the video, subscribe to it. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at James Nolan Sports. If you're on Twitter, like this video, retweet this video. Maybe I'll send you $10. Just drop that, whatever, it's your cash tag, your Venmo, and then whatever the easiest way to pay you is. I'm going to be randomly sending people $10 that retweet this video and tag a friend. Also, subscribe to the channel too. Got to be subscribed to the channel to get that $10. But yeah, shout out. Deuces. Fastest growing New York sports YouTube and Twitter show out there. And I'm also on Facebook. But we really on YouTube and Twitter mostly. Shout out. Deuces.